Hey VIPs, this is your illustrious host, Dom Vitale, joining you from beautiful Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. It is Thursday morning here. This is my last full day here on my vacation. Just walking down the edge of the beach here, just to give you a perspective. That back there is the resort that we're staying at, and then straight to my left over here, or behind me now, is the beach with some huts and things like that. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a vision of kind of what my week has been like here in tropical paradise, I guess you could say. It's been fun, it's been relaxing, and gonna take a seat here and just kind of break down some stuff for you in place of this week's VIP podcast, which obviously I didn't bring any of my recording equipment with me because I didn't know if I would have the time to do it. But I wanted to do this video blog or vlog for you guys, just to kind of go over some stuff that I've been working on this week while I've been here, even though it is a quote-unquote vacation. But I feel like, you know, this was my time to self-reflect, like I said, and I think I got quite a bit out of it, actually. So the first thing that I want to bring up and highly recommend to a lot of you guys is I pretty much avoided social media at all costs for the past 6-7 days. I was on there a little bit when I first got here, just to tie up any loose ends just in case, but haven't really gotten on and looked at much of anything since last Friday or so almost about a week now. And it's crazy, not crazy, it's kind of, you know, it's fitting in that just for me alone, my stress level has reduced significantly with not having to worry about what's going on Twitter or what's going on Facebook. And, you know, I don't got to tell you guys that, you know, more times than not, it's just a bunch of negative bullshit on there anyways, and there's nothing really constructive most of the time. And I don't know, maybe that's just who I follow and kind of what I see in my feed. But I took, you know, I made sure I took the initiative to avoid social media as much as I possibly could over the past week, and it's been tremendous, and I don't miss it at all, actually. And it's just, like I said, the stress level is just kind of reduced significantly from not having to worry about that. So I'm not saying I'm gonna, you know, veer away from it forever or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I highly would suggest, you know, sometimes we got to take a little vacation from that type of shit, depending on what it is that we use it for. So just some small words of advice for you guys. Give it a shot. Take a couple days off from it. See how you feel. Recharge those batteries and avoid the negativity. That's what we try to do here anyways. I shared with you guys about self-reflection, you know, and I think that was one of our assignments of the week recently. And I'm sorry if it sounds convoluted, but you know, everything just kind of has blended together over the past 2 weeks. It's been a lot of work leading up to actually leaving for an entire week and trying to get things all pieced together, not just for the show, but for other areas of interest that I have too. So excuse me if things kind of seem jumbled together or repetitive. But we talked about self-reflection, and I wanted to use this week to self-reflect as much as I possibly could. Yes, I wanted to kind of recharge the batteries and you know, just kind of take a break from everything as much as I could. But you know, this is the perfect opportunity for me, you know, being away from everything, just to kind of take a couple steps back and take a look at where I am and where I'm going and where I've been, and, you know, if I'm happy with my, you know, my place in life at the moment. And you know, it's been very interesting but actually looking back on the past 12 months, let alone 6 months, anything like that, and kind of seeing where I'm going. And I got this, and I'll be honest with you here. It seems like every year, and it usually doesn't occur till about October or so, this thought enters my mind about packing it up as far as wrestling goes. And that thought has crossed my mind more recently than not the past 7 months or so. And I always told myself two things. One, I'm not gonna wrestle beyond the age of 40, and I'll be 36 this December. And I also said, once I'm not having fun anymore, once it's not fun to do anymore, I'm done. That's when I know it's time to pack it up and walk away. So just thinking about a lot about that lately. And listen, I'm not going to use the term retirement, because that retirement term is fucking bullshit for an independent wrestler, because you don't use the term retirement from any profession really, unless you have made enough money doing so to live off of that money you made for the rest of your life without having to work. And I'll be quite honest with you, myself and the vast majority of independent wrestlers out there aren't in any fucking position to retire from pro wrestling, especially on the indie scene. So I don't use the term retirement, I use the term quitirement, if anything, because you're just quitting wrestling. That's pretty much what it is. And hear me out, I'm not saying I'm quitting wrestling right now. I'm not saying I'm calling it quits and that's it. That's not what this video is about. I just want to give you an idea of the self-reflection aspect here. So, I guess I've been doing this wrestling thing for 16 years or so with that, and there was only like a 2 or 3 year span and everything between like 2005 and 2007 or 2008 or so where I wasn't actively wrestling due to a back injury. And so I've been going pretty hard and pretty steadily that whole time. And there was a time before when I enjoyed, looking forward to what was coming up as far as wrestling goes. I looked forward to saying to myself, "Oh, cool, we're on the road this weekend. We're gonna go hit up, XYZ town," or, "Oh, I can't wait to see the guys this weekend and go, do our thing and visit a new town," and what have you. These days, I don't look forward to that as much. I enjoy when I'm actually there in the moment. I enjoy when I'm in the car pretty much driving with the guys, and I enjoy being at the shows with my friends and being able to travel with some really good friends of mine. It's just that I don't look forward anymore to saying to myself, "Oh, I have wrestling shows the next 3 weekends. Cool, I can't wait to do them." That's completely the opposite. I don't want to say despise, that's not the right term, but it's like, great, I got to wrestle this weekend. And obviously when I get there, it's a change of heart, and it's not as miserable as it sounds. But to me, that's been a huge change, and to me that's telling me, okay, now it's time to be more self-aware of how you're feeling about this whole wrestling thing. And I talk often on the show about maybe the times as far as the way wrestling is perceived are passing me by, and maybe I'm just that bitter old guy. And I don't think I'm bitter at all, but I do think the time is changing, and it's the wrestling business and the wrestling world, whatever you want to call it, is not the same atmosphere that I was brought up in, and what I have been taught to believe is right. And quite frankly, I don't really want to be a part of the new generation, so to speak, or the new garb, or the new wave. To me, it cheapens everything that I've ever done, and everything that the guys that before me have done. Like I don't find anything humorous or enjoyable about basically just blatantly admitting that wrestling's fake on a grand scale. I don't agree with it, and I don't like it, and it's a fucking slap in the face. And to me, it's from my perspective, I feel it's taking money out of a lot of our pockets, and it makes it harder to make a good living doing this. And yeah, I love wrestling, and I love doing, I love performing, and I love the feeling that you get from it. But I'm beyond the point where I'm going to do this shit for free or for beans anymore. And that's why I only take select bookings and making sure I'm getting paid worth my while to get off my fucking couch, because at this point it's not worth it to me anymore. So again, this isn't the Dom's retiring fucking speech or quit tiring. That's not what it is. I definitely have some time left. I have some commitments I want to make, and I still got some thinking to do, to be quite honest with you. But as it stands right now, I am falling out of love with being a pro wrestler. I really am, and that's just the facts about it. And one thing, I don't know if I've shared this on the show before, but I've actually spoke with a couple people about it, and it's strange. Like you develop a little hot out here, sorry. You develop this personality while you're a performer, you know, this Dom Vitale personality. And it's like, if I get rid of wrestling from my life, if I stop doing it, what happens to that personality? You know, and it's very hard to think about, you know, just being a normal person again and just taking yourself out of that different lifestyle, so to speak. And it's kind of like, well, where does the real Dom begin and where does Dom Vitale, the performer, begin? And that's scary too, just thinking about how you know, I would readjust to real life. But one thing I do want to make clear is, even if you know, tomorrow I woke up and said, you know what, I'm done wrestling, that's it, I'm not going to fucking do any more shows, I'm done beating my fucking body up, and it's just not worth it to me anymore. I still plan on doing this show. I still plan on doing the podcast. I still plan on doing the VIP stuff. I think there's a lot, I think I bring a lot of value to a lot of people, and not necessarily just the VIPs, but other people that listen to the show and you know, often hit me up and ask me questions or advice. And it's not about wrestling, it's about life. And that's been one of my goals for a while now, just to be able to help people in every aspect of their life, not just if they're a wrestling fan or a wrestler. I could give two shits about that. It's great that we can bridge the two together, and a lot of you guys, excuse me, like, it's freaking hot, sweating, but a lot of you guys that are wrestling fans are also looking to self-improve, and I think that's awesome. And if I can fill a niche in both areas, that's great. But I am gonna, regardless, I'm gonna continue to do the show. I'm going to continue to do the VIP stuff. And I don't know for you guys out there or for any of the other listeners, if this content, whether it's the podcast or the VIP stuff, holds as much value if I'm not involved in the wrestling business anymore. And I don't have access to that backstage footage. And obviously we'd have to readjust some of the VIP stuff. But I know some people come to the podcast in hopes of that I'm going to talk wrestling and stuff like that. And that's not always the case. We don't always talk it. We talk other stuff, to me, stuff that's a little bit more important. So I'm going to keep doing this either way. I feel like, and I know it's helping people, and people reach out to me all the time and tell me something that I said that I didn't even think twice about, whether like on a regular show. They say that really hit home, and it really made them think, and it made them improve in some area of their life, and that means a lot more than fucking having my hand raised in a fucking fake fight, you know. So I'm gonna keep just, you know, hammering these out every week, and hopefully you guys stick around when that day comes where I say, you know what, the wrestling's part is done, I'm moving on, and that's all I have. And I hope you guys do stick around and listen. I hope you guys do get something out of this. Like I said, I'm going to continue to go into schools as often as I can and offer some advice and some words of wisdom for these kids, you know, because they're the future. They're what, you know, they're what's leading the charge here coming up. And if I can get into more of a professional setting and share those words of wisdom too with working adults, a lot of adults I feel that have settled for things, you know, settled for less than they're worth, I'm going to continue to do that. I have, you know, I'm working on developing my own, starting my own business, and I've been working on that a lot, quite a bit lately, which has consumed a lot of my time. But I enjoy the hard work. I enjoy the hustle. To me, you know, you can't take away the hard work that you put in for your, you know, for your own benefit, I guess you could say. I like being responsible for my, you know, whatever it is that I get in life. You know, I want to be responsible for my success, and I want to be responsible for my failure. I prefer that it's in my hands rather than the hands of someone else, and that's why I just been working like a fucking dog lately. And it actually pained me to take this vacation. It really did. I didn't want to do it, but my lady kind of begged me, and not begged me, but she was really adamant that I do it. And you know, I know it meant a lot to her to come with her, so I did. And honestly, I'll tell you, like 2-3 days in, I was itching to get back home and get back to work. That's just my nature. That's just the way I am. I just want to get back to it. So again, I just wanted to give you guys some insight onto what's going on in my brain. I hope that you guys have taken at least a little portion of your time this week to self-reflect for yourself and reassess and see where you're at. And if you're happy where you're at, awesome, keep running the course. If you're not where you're at, you got some work to do. You got some readjustments to make, and you know, those things aren't going to happen unless you take, you know, tangible action. So as always, I'm always here if anyone needs some help or some guidance or some direction. I feel I have a lot to offer you guys in that area. And sometimes, you know, you just need to talk to somebody, you know, and I do a lot of fucking talking. Every week I do a lot of talking. But I do take the time to sit down and talk with someone that'll listen to me instead of me having to listen to them. That, you know, it's a give and take. And sometimes you need that. So if any of you guys out there, VIPs or not, if you know anyone that does need to talk and just kind of, you know, be heard instead of, you know, someone else jumping in and chiming in with their advice, that's not always what we need. Sometimes we just need to talk and let it out and vent, and we feel a lot better. So feel free to hit me up if that's the case for any of you guys. I'd be glad to chat with you and help you out and guide you in the right direction. But that is all I have for right now. It is 10:40 in the morning on Thursday. I am going to go hit the pool. I'm going to go get one last day of sun. I'm going to read a little bit. And yeah, we're going to have a nice dinner later this evening and then pack up and head out tomorrow back to hot, muggy Phoenix. I heard it's pretty muggy there. Here it's muggy. It's, you know, that's just the way it is here. But can't wait to get back home. Wish the vacation didn't have to end, but also can't wait to get back home and get to work. Got some things to do. As always, I appreciate you guys listening, watching the content. Feel free to hit me up at any point if you have any questions or comments, especially about this video. If you have any insight to offer me, I would love to hear it. Just because you're not a wrestler, or if you are or not, that doesn't make a difference to me. I love hearing different people's perspective on some things that I touch on. So feel free to hit me up. But until Monday, as always, be good to yourselves and do good for each other. I'm going to get some sun and grab some grub. You guys enjoy. We'll catch you on Monday.